Now that I know how bad that podcast went, I'm gonna use a Tenet and travel back through time so I can film it again.
All right, I just watched Tenet yesterday, and my brain is like a witch's cauldron, just bubbling with thoughts. So let's go through the five most important takeaways that I got from the movie. And after that, I'll have a few bonus thoughts and a score. So join the red team, and let's move forward in time towards the end of this video. Number one, Robert Pattinson is an awesome actor and is going to kick ass as Batman. People get caught up in the whole Twilight thing that he did when he was like 22 years old. But if you've been following him since then, he's an awesome actor. He's chosen a ton of really interesting and diverse roles. And you can see him sort of try on that suave and debonair vibe that he's definitely going to be using when he's Bruce Wayne in the upcoming Batman. Now, can he bulk up and kick the crap out of people? We'll see. But personally, I have no doubt that he's going to be an awesome Batman. And I think this movie really showcased that. Number two, Idris Elba would have been and still would be the best James Bond. And they blew it. What does this have to do with Tenet? Well, basically, our protagonist, who's literally called the protagonist in this movie, is essentially like a black James Bond. And he pulls it off wonderfully. It's awesome to see. And all I could think when I was watching Tenet was how good Idris Elba would have been as James Bond and why haven't they done this? I mean, first of all, he's British and he's just perfect for the role. You got to understand with James Bond, you need to be able to do two things. You need to be able to pull off the charming, wooing the ladies, that kind of vibe. And you need to be able to pull off the I can kick your ass if I need to. I can be a cold, calculated killer if I need to vibe. The issue with the history of the Bonds is that most of the actors chosen for this role either have one or the other and almost never have both. I guess the exception would be Sean Connery, the original James Bond. But even Sean Connery, he had the charming bit down for sure. But the kick your ass bit was kind of like Adam West's Batman, like just kind of comical in a way. It didn't feel real. And then, of course, you have Daniel Craig, who's doing James Bond now and is amazing at the cold, calculated killer. But come on, is anybody buying that he's charming? No way. And then, of course, you've got Clooney and Brosnan, who were charmers, but you would never believe that they could beat up anybody. And you had a couple of Bonds before that. Nobody's been able to nail both of those vibes. And I think that Idris Elba is perfect. And I'm still baffled as to why he's never gotten that chance. And apparently, there's a lot of rumors that say he's not interested because of racist casting, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just sad because really he is the perfect James Bond. And that was one of my major takeaways from Tenet. Number three, CGI sucks. CGI sucks. It's awful. Nolan is such a master at using real and practical special effects instead of using giant explosions that are unnecessary and don't feel authentic. There are multiple times in this movie where he just uses practical stuff that just is so grounded and so effective and so visceral and so powerful. Just the sound of a boat's engine or the grating of a car's roof as it slides across the road is excellent. There's this one scene in the movie where they're just riding in these weird racing sailboats, knifing through the water. And that's it. That's the whole scene. And it was incredible. Just everything about it, the sound, the music, the cinematography. And there's no special effects, really. It's just two boats in the water riding through the water. And it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. It's riveting. I understand if you need to make a dragon or a goblin army or some crap like that, use the CGI. But it's so overused and it's vastly inferior to effects that look and feel and basically are real. Number 4, bold, ambitious movies like this need to be praised, even if they fall flat on their face. Now, I'm not saying that this movie does fall flat on its face, but it's far from perfect. It's actually kind of a mess, but it's just so damn ambitious. Cinematically, thematically, it deserves to be celebrated. We need more movies like this, movies that take chances, that swing for the fences and come up short. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck watching Fast and the Furious 28 climate change and remakes of The Predator with John Cena forever. Please, God, no. Number 5, this movie does not make sense, and that's okay. I see some people saying the movie is a masterpiece, and if you don't get it, you're dumb. Yeah, okay. That's so cool that you understand inverse radiation, which isn't real, by the way. These people that think they understand this movie are the same people that believe the earth is flat. So don't listen to them. I mean, literally, Stephen Hawking had like a theory about time traveling backwards and then admitted that he got it wrong and messed the whole thing up. So don't tell me that you understand fake science that even Stephen Hawking can't wrap his brain around. You don't. You don't. Okay? But it's okay. There are some people also saying the movie makes no sense and that it makes it bad. Don't listen to them either. This movie is science fiction. It deals with stuff like the grandfather paradox, inverse radiation, reverse entropy, inverse forces, time travel. And guess what? Those things aren't real. It's okay if they don't make sense. I find with this movie, the more you try to make sense of it, the less sense it makes. And it actually makes the movie worse. Just enjoy the ride and think about it. That's the point here. Not that it's going to make sense perfectly, but that you're going to use your brain, that you're going to think about the movie. You're going to turn it over in your head even after it's over, the next day even. You're going to talk about it with your friends, maybe even have arguments about it. Isn't that a worthy gift of a good movie? So yeah, that's it. I was surprised how much I liked this movie. I went in with low expectations, thinking it was going to annoy me, but it was really fun. The soundtrack is absolutely incredible. It's just nervous energy throughout the entire movie and tense. Nolan is so good at creating tension throughout the movies. You always have this feeling like comprehension is coming. It's right around the corner, but it's just out of sight, just out of grasp, and you never quite get there. You never get that comprehension you're looking for. The tension never really goes away until the movie's over. That's great. The dialogue, not so good. Half the time you can't hear it, and when you can, it's filled with expository nonsense. Like many of his movies, this movie is also a bit cold and emotionless. It makes me wonder, could he just team up with someone like Richard Linklater or something, do a co-directing of a movie? Because Nolan is just so amazing at these big ideas and these set pieces, but he really lacks in the dialogue and the human emotion part. And you wonder if maybe he could just get some of that from somebody else. Anyway, my score for Tenet is an 8 out of 10. It's a good movie, maybe not quite great, but it's the kind of not great that we need. An imperfect gem rather than a polished turd. Go see it. And when you do, or if you have, tell me what you think in the comments below. And I'll see you next time.